No, game has set down. So I went to see Minions and Monsters today. I am wrapping my Vector. Oh yeah, t-shirt because Despicable Me 1 was probably the first movie of that franchise I watched growing up, and it's the best one. Even now it is. So I went to see Minions and Monsters. I'd watched all four films, all two Minions spin-offs, all the short films, all of them in preparation. And the movie isn't the best. So critics are saying it's better than every other one bar the first one. They've said it's the best Despicable Me-esque movie since Despicable Me 1. And that's where I've got to tell them that they're wrong. Despicable Me 2, Despicable Me 3, even Despicable Me 4, which is, you know, has a very weak subplot in it, is still better. And The Rise of Gru, I love that movie. So, on par with Minions and Monsters is taking away the last two words of that, and that's Minions. The Minions movie is shit as well. I used to do film reviews, but obviously when I do the watch alongs, I just talk about them now. Might as well. Um, but I don't care. I don't care for Minions and Monsters. I really don't. It's a movie that exists solely because the Minions make money. It starts off trying to be like Minions, but talk about how they've, you know, um, always looked for the big bad boss. Big boss, big boss. Um, and obviously this is a spoiler video, so at the end when it's revealed that it's all a movie, the entire movie itself, metally, kinda makes me appreciate it a bit more, if that makes sense. Because now when I'm like, oh, they've retread this, it's because it's a fictional adaptation. I like the ending, I do, but I think overall I gave the movie 2.5 out of 5. There's just something in it that I can't, like it's funny, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on. You've got Mort, is his name Mort? Zort? Zork? Dork? Dort? Whoever. You've got the suffragettes movement happening. You've got monsters being conjured up. You've got a lot of things happening, and it's harder when I'm not doing the watch alongs of the movies to like openly criticize something and I remember criticizing it. So when you're in the cinema, obviously don't talk, don't be a twat. But it's a lot harder to kind of think about why do I not like that. Have I got pizza? No cheese thing. Oh, it's chocolate trifle or something. Sorry. Anyways, I got my fake Dr. Pepper. I just didn't like the movie that much. I think it borders on being an enjoyable film, but it's let down again. Similar complaints to the Minions movie, in my opinion. I just don't think it's overall really that funny. Maybe I'm just not a fan of solo Minions movies. The Rise of Gru is different because it had, excuse me, it had two main plots. One was the Minions, well, three plots. One was the Minions going to, uh, shit. No, trying to face the Sinister Six of the Despicable Me universe. Gru was embroiled in there as well, being kidnapped and taught the ropes by that old geezer. And then you had the MVP of the movie who's on the cover getting the amulet back. That movie's so fucking good. I've given that movie a 5 out of 5. I love The Rise of Gru. I'm sorry, but I do. There's not one thing that I've got as an issue against it. I love it. I really, really do. But Minions and Monsters, I was never looking forward to because I read the synopsis when I first found out it was happening, and I was like, doesn't sound very good, does it? And it's not. You've got a movie that is semi-enjoyable. I enjoyed some parts of it, but I just felt like I don't know, it just felt like a bit of a drag. The opening criticism with treating it like it's the Minions movie again works because obviously you find out at the end that it's an adaptation. But when you can't really fathom at the time, because when you're in the cinema, at least when you watch a movie at home, you can audibly say, well, what's that doing for? And all of that. You can audibly remember stuff, but in the cinemas, you can't. So I kind of got to base it off. Would I watch it? Would I recommend it to people? Yeah. Would I say it's not a bad movie? It's not bad. Would I say it's enjoyable? Not really. So it's either not bad, semi-enjoyable, or enjoyable. And I would say because they are enjoyable parts in it, it's just the Minions have had their day, I think. Is that unfair to say? Is that fair to say? I feel like the Minions have had their time. Despicable Me 4 probably isn't getting the number 5. Minions and Monsters is probably going to be getting a sequel to that. I can't see Despicable Me 5 happening. So it kind of rests now. People are saying the Minions have saved cinema. What movie were they watching? What movie was I watching? I mean, it's not done too bad at the box office so far. It was an empty screening that I went to be fair. I think there was like 5 other people, and 3 of them were kids. One was me, I think there's like 2 or 3 kids. One parent for each kid, and then just a random Donny down the front row. So there's like 6 people altogether. Midday screening, but I've never seen Minions and Monsters actually be advertised properly. That's the thing. I've never actually seen Minions and Monsters be advertised in a way that people will be like, there it is. I don't mind Illumination. I know they get a bad shtick. I don't mind Illumination. I like Sing. I love Sing too. I love Sing too. One of the best movies I saw in cinemas in 2022 because it came out in cinemas that year, but it released a year prior to that. Hop is a fun movie. I've not seen The Grinch, don't want to. I've seen The Good Grinch. The Lorax, never seen, people memed it. And now Catnad's getting a movie that isn't Illumination, but it might as well be, because that's who they are. Now on they're getting the rejects or whatever. Um, but no, I don't know, I just didn't like Minions and Monsters that much. I liked the homages to the old Hollywood films, that was nice. I liked the start where it has the illumination, but it was like the Minions as 1920s to 1940s artwork or something. I just didn't enjoy watching it that much in cinemas. I enjoyed parts of it, and I didn't enjoy other parts of it. Uh, and that's not because I'm a grown up, because I rewatched Despicable Me 1 in May and loved that movie. There's just something missing from Minions and Monsters, and again, like I say, it seems to be a trend. Maybe I don't like no Gru. Maybe I'm a Gru sexual, and all I need is Gru in a Despicable Me and Minions movie for me to love it. But I think that's the issue as well. For me, personally, and obviously, clearly, people love Minions for some reason, and Minions and Monsters. To me, they need a likable human as their big boss to tell a coherent story, instead of literally just having random humans dotted about. But again, that's a personal gripe that I've got. well, I say gripe, it's probably my own opinion being echoed through YouTube, but got some on my glasses. And then they had this minion who was deaf, which is cool for representation, but he didn't really do anything. I feel like he was literally just there for the diversity. And that's not what you want in a movie. He was hard of hearing, so he used sign language, but I feel like all he was doing was being used as the diversity minion. And that's me using that in a negative way. Excuse me, because he was there and he was kind of like hyped up within the movie. I say hyped up, but it was almost like he was going to be getting a bigger role, but then the movie kind of forgot he existed and he kind of just became a background character. I think his last notable piece of work that he did in the movie was slurping a straw loud because obviously he can't hear. So I thought that was a nice addition. But then it's like, okay, so if you're going to be doing that, that's your last contribution. And he was there on the movie set when the monsters were, you know, gonna enact their big plan. And then it's like Zort, or Dort. Who is he? Yeah, obviously I know who he is now, but when you're watching the movie and you're like, huh? Like literally, if that ending wasn't the ending where it was actually a movie all along, which is actually a nice touch because it means that they could have made any inconsistencies and nobody would have cared because he would have just said at the ending, well, it's the ending, isn't it? It makes sense, but if that was not the ending, I would have been like, excuse me, why on earth are we having an alien invasion with the swordsman or whatever, not swordsman, UFO soldier, I think. I don't know what he was in. A spaceship. But the Minions are making a pro suffragette movie. Everybody should be like the Minions. I just hope they don't bring in a female Minion. I feel like that's going to be. I mean, look at me. You know, talk about diversity higher, and I might as well be at this point, but I wouldn't want a female Minion. Because it kind of just. If they were to bring in one, I'd be like, what are you doing? The Minions don't even have like a gender, do they? Are Minions. Do Minions know that the men? Do they know that they've got a certain genital area and that another gender doesn't? Are they a gender? You know, they have none. Like, what are they? But I just want to make this video. Ooh, I'm doing the rock. Look, ooh. Well, I might as well just do this video. I would have done it for every movie that I watched, but no, thank you. I'll just talk about them on the live streams if I'm bored. But this is different because I'm going to try not to spoil new movies coming out. I've got a few more that I plan to see this year. This year, obviously this year. Sorry, this month. But yeah, don't really know what to say. There's not a lot to talk about in regards to the movie, which is a shame. But I suppose other people have really liked it, and I don't know why. But again, maybe I'm just a gross sexual. But thank you very much for watching. Much love. Feel free to put stuff in the comments below. However, you can't spoiler tag on YouTube that I'm aware of. But then I suppose if you're clicking on this video, you know the spoilers anyway, so it's fine. Just spoil it in the comments because this is literally a spoiler review video. Yes.